The U.S. Secret Service was created in 1865 after Abraham Lincoln approved it to fight counterfeiting, the same day he was assassinated. Its mission is twofold: to protect national leaders and to investigate financial and cyber crimes. After President William McKinley's assassination in 1901, protecting U.S. presidents became its top duty. Today, it safeguards the president, vice president, their families, former presidents, major candidates, and visiting world leaders, while also investigating financial fraud, counterfeiting, and cybercrime.
The United States Department of Veterans Affairs Police, the VA Police, began in 1865 at the National Homes for Disabled Volunteer Soldiers, or Guards kept order among Civil War veterans. Drunkenness, fights, and going absent without leave were the most common offenses, with punishments ranging from fines to stone breaking. Over time, the Guards evolved into a professional police force. By the 1970s, they gained full police status, and after 9/11, they became fully armed with modern weapons. Today, the VA Police enforce federal law at VA hospitals, clinics, and cemeteries nationwide, protecting millions of veterans, staff, and visitors.
The Federal Air Marshal Service, part of TSA under Homeland Security, protects passengers on U.S. flights from hijackings and terrorism. Air marshals work undercover, trained in firearms, combat, and spotting threats. The program began in 1961 under President Kennedy and grew after hijacking threats in the 1970s and 1980s. After 9/11, it expanded quickly, and today, thousands of air marshals operate worldwide to keep aviation secure.
The Federal Protective Service protects over 9,000 federal buildings and the people inside. It has about 900 officers and works with 13,000 private security guards for access control and response. The Defense Criminal Investigative Service is the investigative arm of the DoD Inspector General, created in 1981 by Secretary of Defense Caspar Weinberger. It became part of the DoD OIG in 1982 and gained full federal law enforcement powers in 1997, allowing agents to carry firearms, make arrests, and execute warrants. DCIS focuses on protecting U.S. troops and military programs by investigating fraud, bribery, corruption, cybercrime, healthcare fraud, and the illegal transfer of sensitive defense technology. Its priorities include stopping counterfeit parts in weapons, preventing financial crimes, and guarding DoD systems from cyber intrusions. The Coast Guard Investigative Service handles crimes involving the Coast Guard and maritime law. Its agents include civilians, active duty, and reservists with full arrest powers. CGIS investigates fraud, homicide, drug and migrant smuggling, environmental crimes, and terrorism threats. It also provides protective services for Coast Guard leaders and visiting dignitaries and works with agencies like the FBI, Secret Service, and Interpol. The Pentagon Force Protection Agency is the DoD law enforcement agency responsible for protecting the Pentagon, the Mark Center, the Defense Health Agency HQ, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Armed Forces, and other DoD facilities in the National Capital Region. Its mission is carried out by Pentagon police, investigators, threat management agents, explosives and CBRN specialists, and security experts. The Diplomatic Security Service protects U.S. diplomats, embassies, and secrets worldwide. Born after the 1983 Beirut bombings, it now operates in 170-plus countries, guarding 275 missions. DSS agents, also part of the Foreign Service, take on terrorism, cybercrime, and passport fraud. They protect the Secretary of State, ambassadors, and visiting world leaders. They coordinate global security for major events like the Olympics and World Cup, working with host nations and overseeing other U.S. agencies. The Army Criminal Investigation Division, CID, is the main agency investigating felony crimes and serious violations within the U.S. Army. Independent since 1971 and headquartered at Quantico, CID has about 3,000 personnel, including 900 special agents. These agents, both military and civilian, report directly to the CID director, who answers to the Army's top leadership. The Naval Criminal Investigative Service, or NCIS, is the main law enforcement agency of the Navy and Marine Corps.
It investigates serious crimes, protects naval assets, and handles counterintelligence, counterterrorism, cyber threats, and national security missions. About half its staff are civilian experts, while the rest are armed federal special agents working alongside analysts in fields like forensics, cybersecurity, and surveillance.
The U.S. Mint Police, founded in 1792, is one of the nation's oldest federal law enforcement agencies. It protects Mint facilities, $300 billion in assets, and 2,800 employees. Officers also train at FLETC and support events like presidential inaugurations, the Olympics, and disaster relief. Historically, they've guarded treasures such as the U.S. Constitution, the Gettysburg Address, and the Holy Crown of Hungary.
The U.S. Marshals Service, created in 1789 under George Washington, is America's oldest federal law enforcement force. It tracks down fugitives, manages criminal assets, runs witness protection, and moves prisoners nationwide. Marshals also guard federal courts, judges, and senior officials.
The United States Capitol Police, USCP, protects the U.S. Congress, its members, staff, and facilities. Reporting to the Capitol Police Board, it is the only full-service federal law enforcement agency under the legislative branch. USCP officers enforce federal laws, investigate crimes, and provide security for members of Congress, their families, and visiting dignitaries. The Supreme Court of the United States Police Department, or Supreme Court Police, responsible for protecting the Supreme Court building, grounds, personnel, and visitors. SCUSPD enforces federal and D.C. laws, Supreme Court regulations, and provides personal protection for justices, both domestically and abroad, including their homes.
The United States Park Police is the oldest uniformed federal law enforcement agency in the U.S., operating primarily in Washington, D.C., New York City, and San Francisco, with authority extending into surrounding metropolitan areas. USPP officers handle typical urban policing duties, crime prevention, investigation, and arrests, while also protecting national monuments and landmarks.
The FBI police are the uniformed security force of the FBI, protecting major facilities like the Hoover Building and Quantico Academy. They have full police powers to prevent crime, guard staff and visitors, and control access. Their duties include patrols, screenings, canine bomb detection, and counter-surveillance.
The Amtrak Police Department secures trains, stations, and passengers nationwide, while the Postal Inspection Service enforces laws against mail theft and fraud. The D.C. Protective Services Division provides law enforcement and security for government-owned and leased properties in Washington, D.C.